Very well. I'll give an extempore ruling. There will obviously be a more detailed ruling. That is, there will be more detailed reasons for the ruling that I'm going to give in the judgment itself. I have to deal with. We are at a stage where the accused person has finished giving his evidence in chief, and we have reached the stage of cross-examination. I now have to deal with the point of law or a procedural issue or a legal issue raised by the state. I must disclose that when I invited the prosecution to cross-examine first, because that was the natural, according to me, that was the natural thing to do. The state then indicated that it was of the view that the co-accused persons should cross-examine first, and then the state will cross-examine after the co-accused persons are done with cross-examining the first accused person. The suggestion was resisted by counsel for the second accused persons, who said that in fact the state should start, and then they can cross-examine after the state is done with its cross-examination. Among other reasons, the counsel for the co-accused persons said that they stand to suffer their clients stand to suffer prejudice in that while they have no questions now for the first accused persons, it doesn't follow that they will not have any questions for him after he is done giving evidence. There may be issues which they may need to test arising from evidence elicited in cross-examination. And therefore, if they cross-examine first, they will be denied that opportunity to test the evidence which will have been adduced in cross-examination, and that will obviously, according to them, cause them prejudice, and that may result in an unfair trial. The state responded and said that, in fact, if anything at all, it is the state which is likely to be prejudiced by the approach which counsel for the accused persons have suggested, because it's better for the accused persons to cross-examine each other, and then the state will deal with all that arises from that cross-examination at once in cross-examining the first accused person. I therefore have to rule on the procedure. I've quickly gone through the literature that was readily available to me, and I'm persuaded that I should order that we proceed with the state cross-examining first, and the co-accused persons cross-examining later if they wish to do so. My brief reasons are that, first of all, there is no statutory framework so far. It may be there, but I've looked at the main source of our criminal procedural law, which is the Criminal Procedure and Evidence Act, and I have not found anything on it. The Criminal Procedure and Evidence Act appears on the face of it to be a small book, but those of us who have practiced criminal procedure know that it is vast. So it is possible that I might have missed it, but I've gone to the section which relates to the conduct of a trial. I've not seen anything on the order of cross-examination. So clearly, as of now, I'm proceeding on the basis that there's no statutory framework which can assist me in resolving this dispute. I have then looked at a South African textbook on criminal procedure. This is because we practice the same law generally with South Africa. Our law, particularly the common law, is Roman Dutch, which historically started in South Africa and then came to Zimbabwe, and that is the law we have generally followed. So in practice, when we have a legal problem, we also look at South African textbooks and so on and so on. They give guidance. They don't really tell us what to do, but we consider their views to be very persuasive. And I have I looked at that. This is the Criminal Procedure Handbook by Chimombe, and it says here under cross-examination that the parties who did not call a witness have the general right to cross-examine, and that the purpose of cross-examination is to elicit facts favorable to the cross-examiner and also to discredit. And I then looked at Reed Rowland, that is Criminal Procedure in Zimbabwe, by John Reed Rowland. That's a guide which we normally refer to for ease reference. It says here at page 1634, 1635, it says, paragraph 4, cross-examination of defense witnesses. The accused is a defense witness, by the way. The prosecutor is entitled to and generally should cross-examine the defense witnesses, including the accused. And if the accused is jointly charged with another and elects to give evidence, he may be cross-examined by his co-accused person. You are looking at the order there in which it is being put. It's not. I don't believe that it's accidental that the author starts about the prosecutor's right to prosecute and then refers to the co-accused person's right to cross-examine. It appears to me that there's some recognition that it is the right of the state to prosecute and must. Although the prosecutor may, if he chooses, not to cross-examine, but there are inferences that can then be made by this court as against the state case. So the prosecutor is generally expected to cross-examine. And then the accused persons, you know the way it is put? The prosecutor is entitled and is generally expected. But thereafter, accused persons may. There appears me there to be an option because the accused persons have got the right to silence. They have no obligation to prove anything. They can decide to keep quiet if they think it is safe to do so. So, generally, the expectation is that the prosecutor will cross-examine, but the accused persons may decide not to. So that's my interpretation. The author was not dealing with the specific issue, but as I said, there are natural ways, what we call hunch of doing things. In presenting the author dealt with the prosecution and then we went to which means that the hunch amongst those who practice criminal procedure is that it is the prosecutor and then the accused person may. I then looked at Hoffman, which is the main textbook. Well, I may be wrong, but it's one. Let me say, to be safe, it's one of the main textbooks that we, the legal fraternity, uses on matters of evidence. It's called the South African Law of Evidence, and I am here referring to the fourth edition. I don't propose to read so much from it because, as I said, my detailed reasons will follow. In the judgment, the main judgment itself. But what I have seen in that book, starting from it's under the rules of trial, I have seen that there's historical development according to the authors, is that they've discussed the purpose of cross-examination. Then they go on to say that the prosecutor would cross-examine. That was in the beginning. Then the involvement of the accused person, the right of the accused person to cross-examine evolved. So what existed first was the right by the prosecutor to cross-examine. Then, initially, co-accused persons were not allowed to cross-examine their co-accused persons. Then the lawyers argued that they must have the right to cross-examine. Then the courts then allowed gave in and allowed a co-accused person to cross-examine only if the accused person who has testified has given evidence against them, adverse influence. So it was qualified permission. So ordinarily they would not cross-examine, but they would only cross-examine if the co-accused, if the accused person was given evidence, said something adverse. Then, the debate continued. As usual, the argument was, but why should it be limited? They may as well want to establish facts favorable to them. So where he has not said anything adverse, they may still want to establish something through them. So they should just have as much a right to cross-examine as the state, because they are participating. That's when the court then said, they must just be cross-examined just like anybody else and do as much as they want, whether to discredit or to establish facts. That's how the right, absolute right to cross-examine came. So that is historical development tends to suggest to me that the primary right is that of the state, and then the accused persons may, but they have the right. A right can be waived. And then I looked at generally at what is a joint trial. This is a joint trial. Each accused person is facing trial in his or her own right. Each accused person is being tried for his alleged involvement. For all we know, the two accused persons could have been tried separately. But they have been tried jointly just for the convenience, because the criminal procedure allows it. It's for convenience, the same evidence is going to be laid, and so on and so on. But if you go back to the criminal procedure, which I referred to, the handbook, it says there are cardinal rules which guide a criminal trial. Among them is fairness. There must be fairness. There must, and the court must be in control of the proceedings in a manner which protects the constitutional rights, which are fairness and all other rights that accrue to an accused person. In other words, the court is entitled to protect the accused person's right to silence even. So in that case, at the end of the day, it's up to the court, but where the issue has been raised like this, I think in my consideration is that it is the state which must start, because the accused person is under no obligation to discredit the accused person, is under no obligation to adduce evidence to establish facts, because he does not bear the honors to do anything. It is the state which has the honors to lead evidence, and forcing now to say extract facts that may be favorable is like reversing the honors on him. As I'm saying, this is the view that I take because I've been asked to rule on it. I got a bit. I was a bit confused when Mr. Mabaud said that is the procedure that was followed in previous matters. I did not have the opportunity to go to previous matters and see how we approached them, because I thought the procedure that I followed was the natural approach. But it doesn't really affect anything. When an issue has been raised, I must deal with it on the basis of what I perceive to be what the law says, not on what we have always been doing. So I did not want to spend more time on, looking for the records that we have dealt with before and how we approached it before. And finally, Mr. Mabaudi had suggested that it is only fair to the state that the accused persons should tackle each other first, and so that he can then deal with the accused person after that has happened. For lack of, because this is an extemporary ruling, I'll probably find better words, but I think that is like inviting, because as I said, the accused, it is the state which is the main adversary of each accused person in their own right. So when the state is tackling the first accused person, for all intents and purposes, the second accused person would not be here, because this just happens to be a joint trial. But we have two people who are being tried at the same time. So for all it means is that the second accused person would perhaps be sitting somewhere and watching, and is entitled to do that. But what it is now is that, as we say, the purpose of cross-examination is to discredit. The state is like inviting the accused person to assist it in tackling the first accused person, which he may not want to do. Having said that, those are my brief reasons for ruling, as already indicated, that the state will begin. It is so ordered.
If I may ascertain from the court, my lord, it's almost 3 o'clock. The state is until what time for the day?
For the day, if you want to, it's 3 o'clock.
Yes.
You have, if everybody here agrees, I think you have 2 hours. Yes, the bench agrees. I don't think you will disagree in the face of your clients. No disagreement.
We have no difficulty.
Very well. So you have 2 hours.
Thanks.
If for any reason you think that you want to stop before that, for your own convenience, you can advise us. If you think you need a little bit of more time to wind up, we always manage our own processes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think the interpreter, I think she is quite, I'm sure she is comfortable with the time.
Oh, no, sometimes we sit late. If you have any, I honestly, I should have consulted you. Yes.
In prisons as well, I'm told.
What do you think? You can abide. If you have any serious challenges regarding your transport arrangements, we can always order the registrar to mitigate.
Prisons would like to register that they would have preferred 4.
4 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay. So what time is it?
It's 3 o'clock.
Who is in charge of prisons here? Can we go at least to 4:30? 4:30? 4 o'clock. Okay. Very well. So you have an hour.
Thank you. Mr. Mpofu, you were quite.
And unless if you are not ready now, you can start fresh tomorrow.
I can start now.
You can start now.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We thought maybe you.
I think my colleagues have got so much anxiety. We hear my first question.
we are quite. We want you to be mentally ready to cross-examine.
Yes.
If the ruling is such that that was your main concern, and you had hoped that you'd proceed after there, and the ruling is really somehow what you call it, I'm looking for a better word, put you off balance. We are willing to accommodate you and adjourn now, so that you start, on a fresh tomorrow morning.
But tomorrow, I'm told tomorrow is a Thursday.
Or on Friday, because we have got 3 more days to go. We have got Friday and are you free to 19? Yeah, we have got other dates that but tomorrow we could also I've got appeals, yeah. So we have got the 12th and we've got the 17th. But if you are ready to start now, we can make use of the time.
What would have been fair to everyone was that for it to be continuous, the state was going to maybe ask the court to remove the case for the 22nd. Then the whole week is taken by that.
Which
On
is the case?
22nd, there's a case for Chokuda, which is before his lordship.
Oh, I see.
It's a new case. That one can be removed. And put
Or as for that one, you are firmly in control as the
Then,
state
it
because
can,
we haven't started the trial.
Yes, then the whole week can be devoted to that trial uninterrupted
Which week now?
from the 22nd to
Because we have the 12th and we have the 17th and 19th already. Blocked. Oh, you were not present when we postponed this matter. We have already 4 days set aside for this trial, which is today, which was today, the Friday, the 12th, then the 17th and the 19th. So you have 3 days. Not to cross-examine you, but but to deal with this matter. But anyway, what do you choose? My concern really is about whether you are psychologically prepared. Your mental frame now, is it that you want to start now, or you want to start tomorrow? I mean on Friday.
I think Friday would have been suitable so that Mr. Mpofu doesn't go today. You won't go troubled by the questions that I fielded within the 1 hour.
Very well.
It may be quite loaded. I think if we do on Friday.
No, I'm ready. I really want you to. I want to hear what you say.
I think.
In that case, I can start.
Yeah. Let's start.
I will see how far I can go.
So you are ready?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, you still have a lot of time. I think is it 3 minutes after? 3. So you have almost an hour to go. Very well. You can start now, Mr. Nabaudi.
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Mpofu, please get hold of these dates. I want to ask you the significance of the following dates.
Okay.
The 29th of January 2013, what is its significance to you?
29 January 2013 rakakosha chiiswa iroro.
29.
Sorry, 29 January 2013.
2013. Yes.
2013.
Yes. What happened on that day?
Chii chakaitika musi iwoyo wa 29 January 2013.
Njarangarira.
I do not remember.
All right. What is the significance of the 4th of February 2016?
Azuva remusi wa 4 February 2016 rakakoshera chii?
4 February 2016.
Yeah, 4 February 2016.
Njarangarira.
I do not remember.
How about the 14th of November 2019?
Gore musi wa 14 November 2019.
Njarangarira.
I do not remember.
Are they not birthdays for your children?
I asked
The
mazuva
first one for your
ekuzvarwa.
daughter and the other 2 later dates for your 2 sons.
I asked
Okay.
mazuva ekuzvarwa ivana venyu here.
Are those not birthdays? Let me record the question first, Mr. Jutero, of your children. The first.
The first being the 29th of January, being the birthday of your son. I'm not going to disclose his name.
The 29th of January being birthday of your son.
Then, sorry, that is only for the daughter. The first one is the daughter.
Of your
Then
daughter.
the second one, the 4th of February 2016, for your son. Then the
4 February
14th of November 2019, for your other son.
14 November 2019 ndeyemwana mwari.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Jetero, you wanted to say something before you answer. Let's hear.
Yes, my lord. I wanted to object to that line of questioning on the basis of its inadmissibility on the basis of relevance. the question of the questions that my learned colleague can put to the witness relates to whether or not they are relevant to this matter. My colleague has not established how it is relevant to this case when his first son was born, when his daughter was born, and when his other son was born. He has not established any relevance for those issues in particular regard to this case. Also, this is personal information and confidential information. This Honorable Court is an upper guardian of all minor children and cannot allow such details to be screened live in the public gallery, which does not have anything to do with this particular matter. It goes against the rights of the children themselves when they were born and how it is relevant to this matter. This causes really an issue that affects the children's rights themselves at their schools, where they are. Over this matter, I believe my learned colleague has really chartered into unacceptable territories which we take great exception to. I could have understood if my learned colleague maybe was not prepared to argue, to cross-examine, but to start off from the children's birth, the personal information of an accused is really a blow under the belt, my lord.
My lord, the state is quite cognizant with that fact. That's why it has said that because they are minors, it is not going to reveal their names. It has only jolted the memory of the accused person through the dates of birth. I have already highlighted, my learned colleague should have realized that I said because they are minors, I'm not going to divulge because their identity, the identities have to be protected. So, in this issue, it is very, 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 very crucial if he can be patient with that. If he confirms that those are the dates for his dates of birth for his children, then that will be the end. Then I go to where it is very relevant straight away. But the question does not, the answer to the question does not seek for the disclosure of those minor children. The mere fact that the state has said asking whether he has got children born on those days does not disclose their identity. So there's no prejudice to the minors at all. And the state does not seek to establish the identity of the minors. It's like saying the state saying you have got 3 children. One cannot object to that. It does not betray the identity of the
one can object to that if we are still dealing with trying the facts in terms of guilty or not guilty. But it may be relevant if after conviction, for example, and it's, you know. But anyway, is that all you want to say?
Yeah, that is all.
Well, Mr. Jetoro, you objected. The state responded to the objection. Naturally, we normally expect you to say something.
Indeed.
You should.
Yes, my lord, if given...
you should say something in response to, particularly on issues of law, to what the state has said.
Yes, thank you very much, my lord. I wanted to deal with the aspect that my learned colleague says that you will not disclose the identity of the children. And the submission that I make is the age of a person, the date of birth of a person by law is part of the identity of a person. A person is identified by name, date of birth, ID, particulars that relate to that particular person. So the aspect of the identity is already chartered into the issue of the identity of the children. Then the second submission that I wish to make, my lord, is that he must establish foundation first, rather than start from a premise where he has not established a foundation over the basis of the question, whose object is none other than to ridicule the witness as an irresponsible father who forgets the date of the children. Maybe that is the point that he wishes to drive to the nation.
Okay.
Then the last point, my lord, that I will make, my lord, is that given that he was getting into the territory that he himself appreciated would relate to issues that relates to the children's rights, he ought to have afforded me even an opportunity to know, or even the court. We could have requested that even that particular information, my lord, have been held in camera rather than in the public where everyone relates to that, my lord. Those are the 3 points that I wish to...
Can we not limit him in terms of any follow-up questions?
Pardon me, my lord?
Can we not limit him in terms of follow-up questions?
Oh, well, my lord, I would then stand guided, my lord.
I'm asking, would that not really deal with your concern? That he must now, the prosecutor must then dwell not on the children. I think if he's laying a basis for a follow-up question, then he needs not pursue the issue of the children, but we get back to this case. The reason why I'm saying this, Mr. Jitel, is that you know that a person, you have raised the issue of relevance.
Yes.
And you are obviously referring to relevance to the issue.
Yes.
You see.
Yes.
But cross-examination is very wide.
Indeed.
Because, as we said, the purposes of cross-examination are twofold mainly. Cross-examination to credit and cross-examination to the issue. So when you are cross-examination to the issue, you must remain relevant to the matter at hand.
Yes.
But if you are cross-examining to credit, you can put questions that are irrelevant to the issue.
Yes.
Have you considered that?
Yes, my lord. I had got the gist of his questions to have been meant to ridicule the person of him as a father. To say, if these dates are significant, how do you forget the date of birth of your children? To any father, that strikes at the core of your qualities as a father to your child. So the purpose or the point you are driving home to the whole nation is that...
Oh, did he say that?
Yes, he says these are significant dates.
But did he say you are any responsible father?
I'm saying this is the gist.
No. If he gets to that,
interpretation,
we don't want anybody to be attacked in court. Okay, thank you. Is there anything else that you wish to say?
Nothing, my lord. Nothing.
I've just been reading the law relating to limits of cross-examination. I'm reading from the same textbook, the South African Law of Evidence by Hoffman. Well, textbook doesn't really bind us, but there are some authoritative writers whom we respect because they don't really speculate, they don't say what they think. They actually normally say what the law is and back that with authority of cases emanating from the courts. And they also state what the common law position is. And I'm reading from page 458, it says, the limits of cross-examination, the purpose of cross-examinations, the purposes of cross-examination are, first, to elicit evidence which supports the cross-examiner's case, and second, to cast doubt upon the evidence given for the opposing party. Cross-examination may therefore be directed either to the facts relevant to the issue or facts relevant to the witness's credibility. So questions which are not relevant to either the issue or credibility are not allowed. So I know that there are cases which say that cross-examination is very wide. It's an art. You must not, the court must not be too quick in restricting the cross-examiner, but it must always be alive to the fact that it has certain rights to protect and must be quick to intervene and stop irrelevant process if it persists. I'm therefore about to rule that the question will be allowed to the extent that it only seeks to establish whether these are the birthdays of his children. And if anything which we may consider inappropriate ensues, then we will stop the prosecutor. The question is therefore allowed.
Mr. Mpofu, I'm sorry, I don't mean to embarrass you, but it's a genuine question. Are those the dates of birth for your children?
Anguda kunyadzisai asi mubvunzo wangu kuda kuti ndizive kuti iwayo mazuva amauzwayo ndiwo here mazuva chayakazvarwa vana venyu.
Chatanga nekuti mazuva evana vangu vese ndakatombopa court ku-magistrate court tichi apply for bail.
I submitted my children's date of birth when I was applying for bail at the lower court.
Saka inini ndine vana vanodarika 3.
I have more than 3 children.
Saka madates ari 3 handina kufunga kuti ari kuenderana nenyaya dzevana vangu.
So I did not think that those dates were my children's date of birth.
Which is why ndati handimazivi. Otherwise madates evana vangu ese mumarecords ecourt aripo.
That is why I had submitted to the court that I do not remember anything pertaining those days, but I had submitted all my children's date of birth to the court.
Mr. Mpofu, I would like to put it to you that those 3 children whose dates of birth I have given are the children of Ajine Pinas Kabisira, who is a director in
Ajinei?
Ajine Finas, I don't know how to pronounce it. Finas Kabisira.
Spelled?
Phinas. Phinas.
Okay, Kabisira.
Kabisira.
Who is a co-director?
Who is the co-director?
Ndakuzvisa kwamuri kuti iwaya mazuva matatu andataura nezvavo kwamuri mabirthday evana venyu. Vana vanonzi Hazvinei Finas Kabisira anovawo ari director.
Confirmed.
And these 3 children whose mother is Kabisira, you are identified as Mpofu as the father of those children.
Vana ivava vana mai vanonzi Hazvinei Finas Kabisira, inini Moses Mpofu ndimi muri kunzi baba vavo.
Confirmed.
Thank you. So the directors of Blackjack Private Limited, where you say you own 10% shares, and Ajine Finas Kabisira owns 90%, it belongs to a couple. You share 3 children between the two of you.
Iyoyo company yamunoti mimi Black Deck Private Limited yamunoti mimi 10% shares pairi hazvinei finance kabisira ari vayani 90% yemashares ndeyenyu mose muri vaviri nekuti muri mukadzi nemurume mutori nevana vatatu pawiri wenyu ipapo.
Ameno ipapo kuti kana munhu ane mwana nemumwe munhu mukadzi nemurume here asi manzwisisiro wangu iwo.
I'm not so sure if a person who sires a child with a woman is a husband to the woman.
No.
Saka
Not 1 child, but 3 children. And when the company was formed in 2015, you were subscribers to that company, and you have maintained that relationship up to date.
Kunzika pakagadzirwa company yonyeyo muna 2015 imimi pawiri wenyu mese mara nechekuita necompany yekusvika pari zvino.
Kana ndanzwisisa chirungu chamataura mati you have maintained that relationship yecompany here kana kuti yehurume nemukadzi zvamambotaura.
From the question you have given to me, you said that we had maintained the relationship. You did not specify the kind of relationship. Do you mean the husband and wife relationship or that of the company?
As directors of the company.
The director of the company?
Chowadi.
Yes, contract.
You never divulged, you never gave you insinuated to this honorable court that this woman that you refer to, that there is another woman who is also a shareholder. You never insinuated that you may be a couple that you have got 3 children together.
Inini kazvikunzi mudzimai wamaitaura kuti ndiye wemamwe mashareholders amunombobvirawo makambotaurawo nezvakewo kuti mudzimai wenyu.
Inini pavanhu vese vandakataura mazita anodarika 8.
I think I mentioned about 8 names.
And pamazita andakataura hapana relationship yandakambotaura kana kune 1 wavo. Saka I don't know why muchida remunhu 1 chete kuti nditaure relationship.
Of the 8 names I mentioned, I did not specify the kind of relationship that I had with them. Why do you want only 1 relationship?
So did I record the question properly? You said throughout the evidence, throughout your testimony, you did not insinuate that this Hajine Kabisira, whom you refer to as the director, you have that relationship with her?
Yes.
That was the question,
That is the
isn't it?
question, yes.
Oh, okay. Have you understood the question?
Muvunzo mai maunzwisisa here?
Ndaunzwisisa.
Yes,
Can you put it again?
Mendero yangu.
zviri kunzika pamubvunzo wabvunzwa navamuchuchisi kuti imimi pahumbo hwenyu muno mudare hamunombobvirawo makaburitsawo kana kuratidzwa kuti mune kudawo kuti muzviburitso kuti iye hazvinei finance kabisira mune ukama naye.
Ndanzwisisa handina kuzvibudisa pamusana pekuti pavanhu vese vandakashandidzana navo kuBlack Deck vandakandoma nemazita panapa hapana kana mumwe chete wandakataura relationship naye kunze kwaMike Chimombe wandakati shamwari yangu.
I did not divulge that information because from the names I mentioned that I worked, of the people I worked with at Black Deck Private Limited, I did not mention the kind of relationship.
The complexion of the case.
Imimi hamunozviona here kuti mukange muchiburitsa ukama hwenyu hamuinawo nazvine finance kabisira zvaigona kuzochinjawo chimiro chenyaya yenyu.
Ndikuzviramba. Ndikuzviramba nekuti if I'm not mistaken kucourt pandakadivulge mazita evana vangu ndakatoisa nemabirth certificate evana saka isi secret.
When I presented my case to the lower courts, I also managed to give them my children's dates of birth, and this is not a secret. I even produced their birth certificates.
panguva iyoyo ndai-apply for bail
At that time, I was applying for bail.
saka ndaida kuratidza proof yekuti ndine vana vangani vanosafa nekusungwa kwangu kana ndisina kupiwa bail.
So I was presenting evidence to the effect that I had children who may suffer from me being denied bail.
Saka pavana ivavo dai makatarisa vese kuti vana mai vavo ndianani inda machuza one ndakaona kunge inini kunge hazvisi necessary kuti ndizvitaurire vanhu.
If you checked the mothers of their children, why is it that you chose only one?
Yes. The one that you have chosen, that the state has indicated, Kabisira, is your co-director. And for all intents and purposes, that is your wife. And this was, therefore, Blackjack Private Limited was a family business.
Kune uyu kawatasamudza anonzi hazvinei Phineas Kabisira. Taona kakuti mune ukama hwemudzimai nemurume zvichireva kuti kambani yenyu yeBlackjack Private Limited yanga iri kambani yemurume nemukadzi. Nekuti iye hazvinei Kabisira ndiye mumwewo wemadirectors wekambani iyoyo.
Nandichikumbira kuti mondipa proof yekuti mukadzi wangu.
May you present to me the proof which shows that she is my wife?
Nekuti inini proof yemukadzi wangu ndinayo.
Because I have the proof of my wife.
Right. I'll put it that that is a woman that you share 3 children with.
Ndakuzvisa kwamuri kuti uyu mukadzi wamune vana vatatu naye.
Wrong.
Yes.
The impression that you gave is that this woman was not known to you, you had no control over her, but if the court had known that that woman that you were referring and the one that you were throwing under the bus was actually the mother of 3 children.
Kachimiro chamunoda kubudisa munhu ndechekuti imimi hamunendi kuita nemukadzi yeyu kana kuti hamuna kukama nemukadzi yeyu, asiwo dare raifanira kunge rakaziva kuti mudzimai yeyu mudzimai wamune vana vatatu naye.
Izvozvo inini mafungiro angu chaiyo chaiyo handifunge kuti ndakadaro. I-business relationship yataitaura nezvayo dai paidiwa kuti family relationship yangu yakamira sei dainge ndataura.
From my opinion, I do not think that I did that. You did not mention the kind of relationship that you wanted. I thought maybe you wanted me to discuss about a business relationship, not a family relationship.
Is Kabisira your wife?
Kabisira mudzimai wenyu here?
Asi.
No, she's not.
Was she ever your wife?
Akambova here mudzimai wenyu?
Maybe ndodzoka ndichida iso. Ndakuitika pamutemo ndogona kusanzwisisa pamutemo zvamukutaura.
I may not understand what you're saying by that.
Kuti mudzimai chii
What
for
was
status?
a while?
I think that would be a follow-up question by the state. He's probably asking about what you understand to be a wife. So you answer it from a subjective point of view. If he then disagrees with your answer, he can follow up. So don't ask yourself the follow-up question.
Okay.
Tell us what you have said. She is not your wife, which means you have got in mind what you consider to be a wife. Now he's saying, was she ever your wife? Just answer that from your own perspective.
Asi mukadzi wangu.
She is not my wife.
So we say the answer is Kabisira your wife? No. Was she ever your wife? The answer is no again.
Anawita mukadzi wangu.
Kabisira mudzimai wenyu here mukati kwete, akambova mukadzi wenyu here mukati kwete zvakare.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. You can proceed, State.
But you realize that you try to throw that woman under the bus by blaming her for everything that happened. in connection with the subject matter of this trial. In that you were saying she's the one who was responsible for everything.
asi muri kuona here kuti imi muri kuzamawo kupinzawo mudzimai yenyu pakaoma nechikonzero chekuti muri kuti ndiye ane chekuita nezvese izvi zvakaitika maringe nenyaya idzi.
izvo ndikuzviramba inini chandakataura ichokwadi chekuti hazvinei kabisira nanhasi the director responsible for administration and finance. That's one.
What I said was the whole truth, that Ajnei Finas Kabisira is the co-director who is responsible for
finance and administration. Number two, ndiye akanosubmita bid document Black Tech Private Limited.
Secondly, she's the one who submitted the bid for Black Tech Private Limited.
Number three.
Sorry? She submitted the bid
for Black Tech Private Limited.
Yes.
Number three. Number three, vanhu vanoita nezvekugadzira madocuments, mabid document, nevanogadzira zve-compliance in terms of ZIMRA and NASA, they fall under a department.
Thirdly, the people who prepares a bid document for NASA and ZIMRA falls under a department.
And then inini nakataura kuti ndiri co-director responsible for implementation.
I mentioned that, as for myself, I am the co-director responsible for implementation.
Now, apart from the two of you, were there any other directors?
Kusiya kwenyu mimi muri vaviri, paiva ine mamwe ma-directors.
Izvozvi ndakazvitaura mudare rino ndikati hongu kune mumwe director aripo Tinashe Chimombe.
I mentioned that in this court that we have another director who is one Tinashe Chimombe.
But his name is not indicated. On your covered documents, there is no such a co-director, a third co-director.
Pamagwaro enyu kaekompani yenyu hapana ka-director wechitatu.
Ichokwadi inyaya yekuti anga asati aiswa paCR 14 asi even pakaitwa mamwe ma-resolutions ese including ekusainwa kwema-contracts angatiwo director kudara.
That is true because at that time he was not yet included in the CR 14 of the company, but on the other resolutions of the company, he was the co-director.
You mean he was considered as part of the board?
Yes. Yes, and it's before this court.
Yes.
And what is the relationship of Tinashe Chimombe to Mike Chimombe?
Kama wa Tinashe Chimombe na Mike Chimombe dewe.
Mningina wake.
He is a young brother to him.
Does Tinashe Chimombe have shares in Black Tech Private Limited?
Tinashe Chimombe anima shares in company Black Tech Private Limited.
Sorry, wait. How did you interpret Mningina wake?
A young brother.
To who?
To Mike Chimombe.
So you are saying Tinashe Chimombe is a young brother to the second accused?
Yes.
Okay. So what was the follow-up question? Sorry.
Does Tinashe Chimombe have shares in a Black Tech Private Limited?
Tinashe Chimombe anima shares in company Black Tech Private Limited.
Ayo.
No.
You said your role was the director for implementation.
Matini chikamu chenyu chaiva Director weMendesha.
ichokwadi.
Yes.
What was your title? Your official title?
Chinzvimbo
In
chenyu
Black
chaiva
Private Limited.
chinzvimbo chenyu chainzi muBlack Duck Private Limited.
Managing Director.
Managing Director.
For how long have you been in business?
Mava mubhizinisi kwenguva yakareba zvakadii?
For many years. More than 20.
For more than 20 years.
So you appreciate the role of a you said the
Managing Director.
managing director. You are quite conversant with the role of a managing director.
Saka munonyatsonzwisisa imimi mabasa emunhu anonzi managing director.
Wrong.
Yes.
So is that the same reason that you were also referred to as the operations manager?
Ndo zvikonzero zvimwe chete here zvamainzi zvakare imimi muri operation manager.
Nchatanga ndapindura imwe yamambotaura kuti inini ndiri managing director nanhasi weBlack Duck Private Limited.
I'll answer that by saying that as for me, I am the managing director of Black Duck Private Limited.
And then per project ndandiri responsible for implementation.
On the project, I was responsible for implementation.
And then taenda ipapo pa operations director and DC operations director weBlack Duck Private Limited.
On the issue of myself being an operations director, I am not an operation director for Black Duck Private Limited.
Asi ndoziva kuti izvozvo zvakatangira pakuti contract yakadraftwa neMinistry of Agriculture patakanosaina contract ndakasaina pachinzvimbo chakanzi icho operations director.
On the contract which was drafted by the Ministry of Agriculture, I appended my signature on the operations director.
Nekuti ndo madraftiro ayanga yaitwa and ndakangosaina sezvazviri.
Because that is how the contract was drafted and I signed it like it was there.
Alright. Do you consider that being an operations director, it is an executive position which entails in running the company's day-to-day operations?
Asi munozvizwisisa here kuti chinzvimbo ichochi cheoperation director chinzvimbo chikuru chekuti munhu anenge achitoziva kuti kambani inoshanda sei kana irikufamba sei zuva nezuva.
Izvozvo ndozviziva chaizvo asi inini handisi operations director.
I'm aware of that, but I'm not the operation director.
Iyoyo ndodzokorera ndichiti kune communication yakawanda yakaiswa as evidence inoratidza Ministry of Agriculture ichindiadressa samanaging director.
There's a lot of evidence which was presented, which shows the Ministry of Agriculture presenting me as the operation director.
As the managing director.
As the managing director.
And vachirefer to Gift Matiza as the operations director. Even matsamba ainyorwa neBlack Duck Private Limited achienda kuMinistry of Agriculture, Mr. Matiza vaisaina as operations director because ndiye operations director weBlack Duck Private Limited.
Contract, Mr. Matiza was referred to as the operations director, and on many letters which were written by Black Duck Private Limited, Mr. Matiza was the referred to as the operation director.
Was he the operations director?
Ndivo here vaiva operation director.
Nanhasi ndivo operations
Up to
director.
now, he is the operation director.
Now you are confusing us, Mr. Mpofu. You told this honorable court that there are three directors, namely yourself, Azine Kabisira, and Tinashe Chimombe. Those are the three directors. Where is this the Matiza getting the title of directorship?
makutivhiringidza kavampofu mambotsanangurira kapamberi pedare kuti imimi muri director hazvinei finance kabisira ndidirector zvakare mukati pane mumwe wetatu tinashe Chimombe ko uyu wechi4 Matiza uyu ari kupinda kapsad
sorry ipapo ndateedzera matauriro yenyu ekuti operations director. I know kuti iye ndi operations manager.
I was following what you're saying. Operation director, he's the operation manager.
And izvozvo ndo zvandikutaura kuti paevidence yatakapresenta zvirimo matsamba avakanyora nematsamba aibva kuministry of agriculture.
On the evidence which was presented, there is evidence to the fact that he was referred
to as operations director, operations manager.
As the operation manager.
So you are the operations director.
Saka imimi ndimi operation director.
Ingandatsanangura kuti inini ndini managing director weBlack Tech Private Limited. Nanhasi ndo position yangu.
I see.
That I'm the managing director of Black Tech Private Limited, and up to now I still hold that position.
And what is the position of Kabisira?
Kochi nzvimbo chakabisira ndechei?
Ndo zvandamboreva paya kuti ndiye finance and administration.
That is what I had earlier on highlighted the quote. That is, she is the finance and
Administration director.
And then Tinashe Chimombe? What is his title?
Tinashe Chimombe chinzvimbo chake ndechei?
Tinashe Chimombe ari managing yema implementation toshandidzana.
I work with Tinashe Chimombe in the managing of the implementation.
What is his title?
Chinzvimbo
Within
chake
Black Tech Private Limited.
company Black Tech Private Limited ndechei?
Nzvimbo yake chaiyo ari marketing and sales asi project anga ari implementation.
He is in the marketing and sales department, but on this project he was in the department of implementation.
Mr. Mpofu, does Tinashe Chimombe have a title? Not to where, in which department does he belong? What is his title? What is his position, if any?
Kunzi iye anonzi Tinashe Chimombe ane chinzvimbo here chake chinozikamwa kwete kuti ari mudepartment rechakati kana rechakati chinzvimbo chake
Ndo ye marketing and sales director asi project anga ari implementation department.
He is the marketing and sales director, but on the project he was in the department of implementation.
Now, of the three directors, the managing director, administration director, and a director in the implementation,
No, marketing,
or is the director in the marketing?
sales and marketing
Sales and
director.
marketing.
But in the project, he was responsible. He was under the Department of Implementation.
Yes, whichever. Who was senior? Who held the senior role of the three directors?
Pamadirector aya ari matatu aiva nechinzvimbo chepamusoro kudarika vese ndiani?
Papi pacho, pa implementation here kana kuti company.
On which level now? On the implementation or at the company?
You've been running a company for 20 years. If we are talking about seniority in the company, there must be one person who should be senior ahead of the rest.
Imimi kama ita zvecompany yenyu kwemakore anodarika 20. Saka kana tichitaura nezvekuti ndiani ikuru, zvine chireva kuti ndiani ane chinzvimbo chikuru kudarika vamwe vese mucompany.
Ndiye zvine Kabisira ane 90% of the shares ecompany. Kana chizitora senzira iyoyo asi pa implementation ndandiri mukuru wavari vese.
Hazvine Kabisira owns 90% of the company, but on the implementation I was the senior of them.
Ownership has got nothing to do with issues of directorship. An owner of shares might not even be a director of a company. And therefore, the issue I therefore put it to that
I don't want to restrict you in cross-examination, but do those positions exist in terms of, is there anything at law called a senior and a junior director?
This is what I wanted him to explain. I'm not putting any words. If there is nothing in his company, all what the state wanted to ascertain is what prevails in that company.
Precisely. I think if you put it that way, it's better, because I'm not aware of a senior director and a junior director. If you are saying who as you say, who prevails,
Yes.
or if there's anybody, then you can answer that question. I will
Now-
record the question that way.
In terms of the positions that you have given, that you were the managing director, was there anyone senior to you, if I may put that way?
pachinzvimbo chamataura chekuti maiva managing director pane here munhu aiva nechinzvimbo chepamusoro kudarika itsveni?
ndo pandikudzokera papaya kuti paoperation ndini ndandi pamberi, asi hazvinei kabisira because of mashares, because company ichifoma kune maresources, financial resources dzinoiswa mucompany, saka ndiye nanhasi watinotora sasenior wecompany yedu.
On the operation, I was the one in charge, but in terms of ownership, it was Ajinei Kabisira because she has more shares. than us.
But on the ownership, she's
It is Ajinei Kabisira because she's the one who has more shares. Hence, she's senior to me in that position.
in what position? In ownership?
In the company setup, ndiye akaisa
Yeah.
And she's senior in the company setup.
This one.
yes ndizvozvo.
So I want to record that answer. Your answer is that in the operations, I was the one who was in charge. But in terms of ownership, Ajine has more shares, hence she's the senior.
Yes, she invested more money in the company. That's why she's the senior.
That's the answer. We have recorded. The state can proceed.
Now, Mr. Mpofu, what do you mean that in terms of operations, you are the one who was, you said you were the one who was in charge?
Of implementation.
If you may clarify, what is this implementation you are talking about, so that it is clear? What do you mean by implementation?
Implementation.
Hakungoti mazita manzo angochinjana chinjana, but inini ndikutaurira pa-implementation kuti I'm the one responsible nanhasi. Implementation yema-projects. Remember Black Deck Private Limited haina project one chete, titori nemamwe ma-projects mamwe achiri kutoitika nemamwe akamboitika.
Exchanged the work, implementations and operations, but in terms of Black Deck, private limited are the one responsible for implementations because we have many projects.
So, when did you last subscribe to, when did you last pay dues for NASA? He is the one who was responsible for, is the managing director. When did you last pay NASA dues?
Makapedzera kubhadhara mari dzekunasa rini sezvo mati ndimi maiva managing director?
Nichatangira pakuti inini managing director wangu ndakutaurirai kuti my responsibilities anga akanyanyira ku-implementation of projects.
As a managing director of the company, my responsibility were being responsible for implementation
Of
of
projects,
projects.
not only in relation to the courts. And yekuti hazvinei kabisira is the finance and administration director responsible for example Zimbra issues, compliance issues, NASA, ndikatombotaura nezinara. Why ndataura zinara? Tine a fleet of cars register, sema-registerwa anoitwa company. She's responsible for all that.
Zvinei Akabisira is the one responsible for finance and administration and responsible for NASA and Zimbra papers. Why
Ne-
the reason,
Zinara.
and Zinara. The reason why I had mentioned that is that we had a fleet of cars which are registered in our
company, and she's responsible for compliance.
Now, did you know when Electric had last paid NASA jobs?
imimo munoziva here kuti Black Deck yakapedzisira riini kubhadhara mari dzekunasa.
Semaziviro angu ndeyekuti Black Deck as my directors taisita, and that expense ndaiona kakawandisa yeNASA neZimra and other related expenses.
Now my answer that as directors of Black Deck Private Limited would convey meetings, and I would also see some dues for NASA and
NASA, Zimbra, Zinara and other stakeholders.
NASA, Zimbra, Zinara and other stakeholders.
Asi kuti ndikati date yakapesiya musi wakati kubhadhara handinganyepe, handichaziva.
I'm not so sure when the last payment for Zimra was done.
So the contract that is, the tender that we are talking about is a tender which was flighted in about September 2021.
Tender ratiri kutaura nezvaro itenda rakaburitswa mwedzi waSeptember wegore ra2021.
When had your company last paid NASA dues?
Kampani yenyu yakapedzisira kubhadhira mari dzekunasa dzaidiwa rini?
Inini, if I remember very well, after 2021, company yedu yakaramba ichibhadhara Zimbra, ichibhadhara NASA, ichibhadhara vana Zinara nezvimwewo zvakadaro.
If I can vividly remember, our company continued paying for Zimra and Zinara dues after 2021.
And you were privy to that information, that your company was consistent in its payment in terms of NASA dues? Because you would see that during meetings.
Izvozvo kama ainyatsova neruzivo nazvo zvekuti kampani yenyu yainyatsobhadhara mari dzekunasa zviri kuenderana nesezvo manga muchiramba muchiita mameetings muchitaura nezvazvo.
Kwete Zimra chete kana NASA, company yedu ine ma-expenses akawanda, and ndaimaona ma-expenses kuti kune taita ma-expenses
Not
aya
Zimra
neaya
and
neaya.
NASA expenses alone, but I would also see that our company had many other expenses.
So you would vouch that your company was up to date with its NASA obligation because you were aware of it.
Saka imimi kamunganyatsova nechokwadi nazvo kuti kampani yenyu yainyatsobhadhara mari dzekunasa zvakanaka sezvo mairamba muchitaurirana nezvenyaya idzodzo.
Semaziviro andaizviita or andinozviita, company yaibhadhara ma-expenses eZimra, eNASA nemamo ma-relevant.
From my knowledge, the company was paying for its NASA and Zimra expenses and other expenses.
So how did you know that it was up to date in view of the fact that you were involved in accounting issues?
Imimi maizviziva sei kuti kampani yenyu yainyatsobhadhara sezvo imimi manga musine nechekuita nezvenyaya dzekuaccounts?
Inga ndopandataura kuti kana chiita ma-meetings edu, ma-board meetings, inini ndotaura zvekwangu kwema-expenses, we-implementation. Director responsible nema-finances and compliance anotaurawo zvedepartment rake. kozoti director we-marketing anotaura zvekwake, ma-managers e-logistics and other managers vanotaurawo zvavo. Saka
When we
ndozivira
held
ipapo.
the meetings, as for me, I would explain issues to do with the Department of Implementation, and the Director for Finances and Administration would also present details pertaining to their department, the same as the one responsible for marketing. They also present information pertaining to their
The transport and
department.
logistics vaitaurawo.
Those from the Department of Transport and Logistics will also present information in relation to their department.
So you would say the breakdown of payments made in relation to the company expenditure, that NASA was paid so much, Zimro was paid so much, etc., etc.
That question is taken.
You would also see a proof of payment for such company expenditure.
Maitoonawo zvakare magwaro airatidza kuti kambani yenyu yaishandisa mari sei kubhadhara zvikwereto zvayo zvinoda kubhadhara.
Not necessarily essay or not proof of payments, but ndaiona ma-reports.
Not necessarily all the proof of payments, but I would have sight of the reports.
You were a signatory to the company accounts.
Imimi maivawo mumwe wevaisaina mu-accounts dzekambani.
Oh.
Yes.
Who else was a signatory?
Ndiani mumwe zvakare aisaina ipapo?
A signing arrangement ye-Black Tech Private Limited naNAS inoti iyo any one of the two directors can sign.
But you are three directors.
Wait, that has not been interpreted. You said up to now it says the policy.
Any one of the two directors anokwanisa kusaina.
Can be a signatory.
But you
Can sign. We said, but you are three directors.
Yes, you have got, there are three directors. Why are you saying any of the two? Which two are you referring to?
Imimika timune ma-director 3. Ndeapa mukuti N2.
Ndofunga tinashe Chimombe mambonibvunza kuti hapo pamapapers ndikatsanangura kuti anga asati apo.
You once asked me about the fact that Tinashe Chimombe is not yet on the papers, and I had explained to the court that he is not yet included on the papers.
So, in short, who are the two directors?
Muchidimbu, makambani directors mavira and ana.
Hazvinei kabisira naMoses Mpofu.
Hazvinei kabisira in Moses Mpofu.
So, would you see monthly reports for payments made?
Maionawo here magwaro airatidzawo zvakabhadharwa nekambani pamwedzi nepamwedzi.
In terms of commitments for the company?
Tichitarisawo imimiwo kushandira kambani penyu pamaita.
Handingazoti pamwedzi but ndine access yekuona kana nichida anytime.
I cannot say that we had that on monthly basis, but I had the privilege of seeing the documents at any time.
So you used to see payment in relation to NASA obligations?
Saka maitomboona magwaro airatidza kubhadharwa kwemari dzekunasa nekambani.
Senzwa ndataura magwaro ekubhadhara ini ndaiona ma-reports ezvinhu zvinobhadharwa zvakawanda. Kunobhadharwa zvinhu zvakawanda pazuva and
from what I had said, I was seeing reports of expenses taken by the company on daily basis.
My Lord and Honorable Assessors, I see Mr. Mpofu is now, his water has run out. Maybe that we may take a break for the day. It's now a minute after 4.
Okay. Okay. Yes. We had agreed that we would stop at 4 o'clock. I
Yes.
think we can do that. We should do that. So we meet on Friday.
On Fridays,
Yes. So, State Council, please ensure that we start promptly at 11 o'clock, or if we are lucky, earlier, as soon as this court is available for us to proceed.
Today, I think Mr. Advocate Gary, Advocate Stoller was saying, was here by 10, and the business of the day had already been concluded.
Oh, is that so?
Yes. So I think we can safely...
So we can safely say 10 o'clock?
Yes.
Is that so? Oh, well, yeah, that will give us more time.
And I'm sure members of the press, they have also been accordingly warned to be here by 10.
Oh, I see. Thank you. So let us try. We really want to give this, to utilize as much time of the day as we can to make progress in this matter. So we will all be, we are expected here 1000 hours on Friday. Is it the 12th? Yeah, 12th September. Thank you very much. So, very well. You come back on the 12th.
Thank you.
You should put evidence. You recall the warnings that I was giving to other witnesses? It's you are a defense witness. We don't normally concern ourselves with warning you, but it's perhaps in your best interest to not discuss your evidence with other people, because that may affect your evidence. But look, you are not a state witness. I'm just giving you this warning because that's the normal. Because if you don't complete your evidence in one day, it's inevitable that you go back where you are living. But we discourage witnesses from discussing their evidence with other people. Because when you discuss that, you may be influenced one way or the other, and that will show. Thank you. The court will rise.
Yakakwana, tore mufutini.
Very quick.